Hello, great courses. My name is Ryker, and I am back to give you my event preview for the 2025 Spartanburg Spring Fling. We will be playing 2 rounds at Woodruff, and then the final round will be at Tyger River. I will showcase both courses in this video, so let's get underway. So we are playing the Woodruff Blues to red layout. So hole 1, 260. It's slightly downhill, but it shapes well for a pushy forehand that ends up getting a skip right at the end. So Halo Esplin Scepter should be the nice pick here. And I want to pull the forehand a little bit up on the left side. I see a tree that's a little bit on the left side, far down the fairway. I want to pull it towards that and have the disc fade back to the right. Get my full routine also. I want this to match a tournament round as much as possible. A little bit inside. Got a lucky kick there. See, as you can see, there's a little bit of an adjustment to be made. There's this fireball. I want to aim at the same tree. Just make sure I pull it over to that tree. I know this thing's a little bit more stable, so just make sure we get it pulled over here. A little bit lower, got it straighter. Good skip, and that is inside the circle, almost inside the bullseye. The Scepter did roll OB, but it is also a shot that I do not want to replicate at all. So I want to get it out of my head, not play it, not worry about that muscle memory. I want to have the muscle memory of this fireball. And I will be keeping score for y'all, but me, myself, I will not know what I score until I go back and look at every hole. I'm not keeping a personal score here, so I don't have an overarching expectation when the actual tournament comes around. Hole 8 is another hole that I may want to throw both these putters off of. It's 282, but downhill as soon as you get off that first lip. Really fast green as well. There's somewhat of a backstop, but you just want to put it straight, pull it over a little bit. I find my tree. I want to aim up on the left side, and I just want to put the putter flat on slight anhyzer and pull it down the hill. That's going to be very straight. It's going to bail out left, which should be okay. Now, I know this alpaca will probably be able to turn over to the right. I did put that one a little bit too high. That's going to be a phenomenal shot, though. I think I will go... I think this one's going to be a game time decision because I think both are really good shots. It's just going to be whatever I'm feeling that day. So I'm comfortable with both of those shots. All I'm worried about is if I put too much oomph on the alpaca, it will kind of flip over a little bit. But I think both will be okay choices. So the alpaca did go a little bit too straight, gave it a little bit too much height. So it's right there. The Luna, also a little bit too straight, but it is down here for an edge of circle putt. If I had to pick right now, I think it would be probably the alpaca, just so I can throw it and make sure it will turn. Really good catch, really good putt there too. That's gonna be a little bit right. I made the first one, so it's okay. So here, let's move on to a hole 9. I mean, it's downhill the entire way, then it goes back uphill a little bit into a green that's gonna stop your disc. Just essentially, tonal shot, there's OB, creek before it starts to go back up. I've always been iffy about this hole, but right now I think my first instinct is just throw a little bit of a flex forehand down there, something faster, and play into that hill. Find my tree, there we go. That's going to be really, really good. Yep, right next to the basket there. And I think that will be my choice. Although backhand putter is not a bad choice at all here. More height things that you have to deal with there. A little bit tougher to keep it straight, but I do like my chances on this hole. I think it is very, very important for you to be able to simplify your thought process down to a science. And that's what I've been able to do with my game to a large extent. And I feel like that is a shot right there. That forehand is a shot that I can replicate. And even if I don't hit, the exact line that I want, it's still going to be a decent shot. More than likely, it's not going to go OB. hole 11 blue is the monster of this course, although I think it is one of the most scoreable holes on this course. As long as you get outside this gap, it's 690, plays downhill off the tee, then plays to 11's normal fairway, just goes straight and slowly moves to the left into a raised green. So right here, I'm just thinking about getting out of this gap. That's my first and only thought here, as long as I can get out of this gap. So I want to throw T-bird, essentially flat, maybe slide and hyzer, and find my tree and then pull it on that angle. Okay, so that was not a good pull right there. That's going to end up left because I did pull that over a little bit. Maybe here I want to go with one of my straighter T-birds here, put it on a flat angle or slight ante. Just make sure I hit this gap, and that should be my first and only thought here. But that's not going to be good enough. Just pulled it, left it 2 nose up. Okay, so I'm more comfortable with this blue one here. I think this is what I'm going to throw. So we just want to play back to the center of the fairway here, and still play for the birdie, which is very much in play. Oh yeah, that's perfectly fine. Center fairway, should be able to throw putter from there. So as we look at this shot right here, I know I've done it a lot of times, but it's still a shot that does take some technicality. So I'm going to throw both my Alpaca and Luna just to see if I can get this twice. Just want to hang this a little bit on the left side and have it go straight. Maybe a little bit too much height, or perfect height on that. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Luna here should just be essentially the same shot, maybe more flat though. Did pull that a little bit, get under the leaves. Okay, that needs to sit. It will. That's still a putt, but it's just going to be a game time decision on whatever I like. It also depends on the wind, but that should be a birdie save from the side of the fairway. So in a practice round like this, it is your body mechanics job to make sure you know how to throw all the shots that you want to, but it's your brain's job to make sure you know how to score when things get off track. That almost spit out, but that's a really nice birdie save. I would love to get the eagle here if I can get that T-bird almost thrown into the ground, play it short, end up a little bit right. I can play mid-range into the green, but used my head there and took a really easy birdie. Hole 17 is a hole that's probably the hardest birdie out here, but I know how to get it. 366, par 3, goes straight and it cuts to the left. You have to go over a creek, which is OB, and the stakes are pretty non-forgiving. So my thought here is just to throw one of my more stable T-birds, give it some height. If I get it on the right side with some height, it will fight through and have the opportunity to get over that creek. So find my tree here. I'm gonna pull it at that. If I go OB here, that'll be fine. I could more than likely save the par. At worst, it'll be a bogey. That is way too low. Got a dead skip. I want to throw that shot again with a different disc here though. That is an Exodus. It is less torque resistant but more stable than the T-bird. Just got to make sure I don't throw it into the ground this time. Slow down my run up just a little bit. A little bit too wide. If that gets to skip over. I don't know if that skipped into the OB or not, but we're going to be playing the T-bird regardless. So yes, the T-bird is safe, but it's not very close. So we have a putt here that we could give a slight run to, but I just want to be safe here. So flat to slight hyzer here. That's going to be way, way safe. Honestly, a bad approach there. I want to play this one a little bit more right. Oh, that's almost a run. Yep, that's perfect. Let's go see where that Exodus is. Yep, the Exodus is OB. This entire area is marked by stakes, which I don't really like, but it is OB. So now that we're done with Woodruff, let's head over to Tyger. So now we're at Tyger River. Hole 1 has been moved a little bit. It is now a red basket. It's still around 275-ish, but it's been bumped to the left a little bit more. So instead of like a forehand, it plays more for a turnover that flattens out pretty quickly. So I'm gonna throw Luna first and then throw the forehand. And And that should be absolutely perfect. Terrible ground play though. As you can see, that's why the backhand plays really well for this hole. As the forehands, you want to push them a lot straighter and have to deal with the trees a lot more. That beats the tree, it should be okay. Yep, that one's good too. So the backhand got horrendous ground play, but it was initially a lot closer to the basket. This forehand's a lot more touchy and a lot more dangerous, but it's pretty decent. I think I'm gonna go backhand. This also depends on the wind a lot. This green's a lot more guarded than it used to be. It's right now almost like a quarter of the basket's out of my sight right now due to the tree. And that's 2 birdies. I'll take that. Good way to start. Now here we are to hole 4's blue tee, and it's one of my favorite holes, period. 378, but decent bit downhill, really low ceiling and really guarded, but it's like the perfect wooded hole. You want to throw something dead straight and then play the ground. It looks sick. It's a sick hole, and I love throwing it. So honestly, I'm just trying to hit the middle gap with something slightly stable. The downhill is gonna hold it straight for a little bit longer. So my Chariot on a little bit of hyzer should do that, but we do have a little bit of tailwind, so that could affect it just a little bit. Oh, that's gonna be way too low. It's gonna be a pretty decent shot because how low it was, but I'm going to throw my MD1 also, just to make sure I can calm down, slow down, and get this shot in the air. So that's a little bit too high. That's still gonna be fine though. But I know my Chariot is my play there, and that's what I'm always gonna do. I just gotta make sure I'm focused on the shot that I'm throwing. We got some really great ground play out of the Chariot here. We got a longer putt and a basket that's really lower, so you gotta worry about that drop. The wind down here is not as bad though, so you can just play a normal putt here. Why did I release that flat? That one a little bit too much hyzer. That'll be another par. Shot was not the best that it could be, but we also got to convert there. Calm down, slow down the putt here. Right there. That's a much better putt right there. That one's a little bit higher, but it was straight up and down. All right, so hole 11, 580 now to the red basket. And of course, you're gonna have wind out here. You have 2 lines of OB. This is a line fairway, even behind the basket. So I think it's important for holes that have this extreme OB, where I think it's better if you go OB near on the second shot, then go OB off the tee and still have a difficult first shot. So play this first shot safe, maybe a little bit shorter. So I'm only gonna throw a T-bird right here. Just try to put it in the middle of the fairway. So I'm gonna aim at probably like the last tree. That line's the right side. Aim right at that. If I can release there, it should be really good. Put it on a little bit of hyzer. I pulled it a little bit, but I put enough hyzer on it. Make that a really simple shot that's gonna play maybe a little bit shorter than normal instead of going something like a 10-speed or a distance driver. And now I should have a mid-range or maybe a fairway in. Maybe it's probably gonna be mid-range or putter, but it was a safe first shot. As you can see, dead center fairway here, but we do have a longer shot in, and I think I know what I want to go here. That's gonna be drop. Actually a little bit higher, probably like spike hyzer angle, just to play something a little bit safe. It probably won't go OB. We do have a tailwind that's going to shove it down more than likely, so I just want to throw this a little bit right of the basket, probably like 20 feet right of the basket, have it hyzer in. Just play this smooth. That's too right. That's going to get back over somehow, but that is not what I wanted there. So if I'm going to be pulling that, let us play a straight shot right at it with a Luna, just to be a little bit safer here. Very slow, right at the basket. That one was not committed at all, but both shots are safe. Of course, that's where you got to worry about this OB. Both shots were safe subconsciously, so now we can walk up to the green and still have a putt for, at worst, bogey. or at worst par, excuse me. Luna is actually pretty okay right here. What a drop. But speaking of a drop, of course we could play this probably lower, just straight at the basket, a little bit right, and maybe not play that spike hyzer. But it was what I was confident in right there, and I just pulled it a little bit. So now we still have 15 footer here. A little bit right, a little bit high. There we go. Those are 2 nice putts. Actually, 3 nice putts. And there's a birdie bouncing back after missing that on 10 because of a missed upshot there. But we really broke that hole down into 2 separate shots to get to the green. All right, now we step up to probably the hardest hole here. Although hole 8, I think, is the hardest to birdie. It's not that hard not to get a par, or it's not that hard to get a par on 8. Hole 15 is tough, almost 800 feet, 799, par 5. Goes straight, then left, then straight forever, then ends right in a really wooded hole through and through. And right here, you just got to break this down into shot after shot. So what am I supposed to do on this first shot? All I want to do is push straight and get left. That's all I'm worried about. I'm not even worried about the second shot yet. Just push straight, get left, and hit the gap. So I'm going to throw my most stable T-bird here on probably flat, a little bit of hyzer, and just make it get left. Up the left side of this T-pad. Hold it just a little bit. That should be... I don't know if that's inside or not. So yes, the orange T-bird was inside. Now we're stuck with a tough shot here. And you know what? I'm gonna get a little bit aggressive here. Try to keep that birdie alive, shot by shot. I know I can hit this shot. So I just want to put it on a little bit of hyzer here, Faro. Oh, it's gonna be a left. That needs to sit just a little bit. That could be riding the OB line. I'm not sure. That's the problem with me going aggressive there. But either way, I think that's going to be par or bogey at worst, which is not necessarily that bad on this hole. Yeah, I thought this was going to be in bounds. Unfortunately, it's not. So we've already broke this down into 2 separate shots. Now we got a third. Just play tempo in. Just soft tempo in, a little bit of left to right. And we'll have a par. It's a pretty okay par. Maybe a little bit high. Yeah, high. Oh, that's actually really good limb. Knock this down. We're inside the circle. All right, we got up here about 15-20, so not a gimme at all. We'll lock in for this putt. High left, that's fine. That's low. We still made it. Par save there off of an okay off the tee drive and an unlucky second drive. 17 you can always go for. 540 par 4. This one's really about placement. You want to be in this first island here. If you have the power, you can go for the eagle here. I'm just not sure if it's the smart thing to do, especially with this one right here. So I'm gonna play MD5 low here. We got a right to left, so it's gonna try to shove me to the left. So I'm gonna throw this out wide, a little bit low, and let it stay in the fairway. Oh, that's not low at all. But that's gonna be dead center fairway. Yep, that's perfectly fine. Go one more here with a Faro. Oh, if the fairway turns, it's perfect. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Oh, I think it crossed. Wow. All right, so we still have that right to left here, but we're dead center fairway. I mean, this is all you really want here, so you just gotta figure out how to play the wind here. So I know what I want to do. I want to play the splice. I know it's not going to get ripped over by that wind. I want to rip it over flat a little bit and try to put it under the pin. Oh, not if you throw it that low. Let's go again. Let's go with a fireball. That was bad. That was really bad. That was me losing my focus. So let's throw a fireball hyzer a little bit higher. Oh yeah, that's gonna be much better. That is almost pin high. That is much better because I focused in on that shot. So the Faro did cross and bounce. I mean, this is nearly pin high on this long hole. I'm so excited about that, but More than likely, I won't go for that unless I absolutely need it and I have good conditions. See, the fireball is essentially parked. That is a birdie. Thank you for joining me, great courses of South Carolina. I'm so excited to be competing in the Spartanburg Spring Fling this year in somewhat of a pedestal where I think my game can give myself opportunities to break past the field and potentially get a win. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.